Hello everyone and welcome to this new channel. Now this is not my normal hobby, I'm starting something new and hence this new channel. And this came about from a friend of mine who said, would you like to do something with some old KeyKegs that are going? They would be there for recycling, but maybe you may be able to do something else with them. So what is a KeyKeg? Well, a KeyKeg is something like this. This is 30 litres and this will hold some very nice fine ale, and also comes in 20 litre containers. What we're going to do, we're going to turn one into a plant pot, which can hold water at the bottom but open at the top, and the other one will be sort of a Victorian bell where you put a plant pot inside it with a sort of, in this case, a plastic cover. So what we're doing, out of one keg, we're going to get two plant pot type things. So before we go any further, the aim of this channel is to take KeyKegs and recycle them into things that are useful. Mainly, in my case, I want to turn them into something that can hold chili plants. I've outgrown my greenhouse, and these ideal KeyKegs can be turned into little greenhouses. So that's the main thing, but once that's been exhausted, or I have some new ideas, whatever my imagination can be, I will try and turn them into, I don't know, solar heaters or a fermenter. I may even make these into seats or storage containers, because these top sections are well sturdy, and that's what would normally you would hold. Oh, there you go, it's still got some beer inside this one. So this is the handle end, but this is I'm going to use as the stand. This is the stand end, which I'm going to use as a stand, and what I'm going to do is carefully separate them, and so that one shell uses one base and the other shell uses the other base. So the beer that was held in this one, which I've just wiped up off the floor, is Black Forest Mills and Hills Lock Fine Ales. A fine beer, I must say. Let's see what's in the other one. What's in this one? This one was Mills and Hills too. So for the first project, I'm going to use this 30 litre container because this can hold my bigger chili plants. So the first thing to do to separate these two is you look at the bottom of the KeyKeg and you see it starts to deform. There's actually, like I said, two layers in here. One is going on to this base and the other one curves to inside here. Convenient for me, this has a label all the way round, so I can cut along here or near to it in a pretty straight fashion. If you have a KeyKeg that doesn't have this label inside, then just use some masking tape and run that around to form a straight line and use that as your guide for cutting. Now you probably can't see it in here, and I can't see it looking at it, but what we've got to do is pierce this first outer layer, trying not to cut the inner layer, and that is one of the more difficult parts of this whole process. So all I use for this is some scissors, and I'll try these first, and then I'll proceed on to a utility knife. Carefully make a hole in this first series, but trying not to go through into the second. Well, I've never had that happen before. So I'm not sure at this point where I've perforated into the second shell. And there we have one plant pot holder container. Now let's sort this bit out. Okay, so we now have this left. I want this top half to be the bell. I'm going to use this bottom half as a water holder for soil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut along this line, try as neatly as possible. Okay, so this is going to act as the bell. If I just take this plastic off. But this is the airbag, and this is where it starts getting a teeny bit messy. But what I did was I cut this out. Be careful now, because this has liquid inside it, so you don't want to go spilling this everywhere. So let me just put this away somewhere. So I've tidied up all the edges, nice and smooth now, and for this variation I'm going to take this one and use this hole on the top, let this be the lid, and this one with this base, with this secured in here, this will hold soil, and then we put this bell over the top. Like so. And so we've got 2 plant growers. But before I go and fill them up with soil, I am going to cut a hole in here just to let this one breathe. I'm going to use this marker and just mark off what I think would be a good vent. One on the other side. So we have a little vent hole which we can put water in if we wish to, or just allow for ventilation. Do the same on the other side and we're ready to go. So this here is my previous first experimentation in turning a KeyKeg into sort of a mini greenhouse. This has a chili plant in it trying to recover, and this is what you see in my YouTube banner. So I'm going to do the same thing here but with the open top for a bigger plant. Actually, I think I might just leave the top off because this plant is a little bit big, even for a 30-litre container. But the nice thing is, that's there, it's going to be shielded from the wind. Let's see how we do. So I'll keep this for another project. So now let's go to the other one, fill that with some soil and put a plant in it. And then here I've got compost and Nespresso used coffee granules. Good for the old chili plants, I've heard. Let's see if I can have better success this year. If you like this, please do subscribe, see how my chili plants get on and all this. I'm hoping for better than last year. It wasn't bad last year, but it wasn't fantastic either. Smash up those coffee granules. And if I do find this holds too much water, because I know chili plants don't like too much water, and because that's an enclosed case, I can always put a few little holes in here without disrupting the chilies. But I'm going to see how this gets on, see how this really holds water. Let's go and fill this with some chili plants. I think this one will do very nicely. I've had these under indoor lights and I don't think they were quite right, and after a while it seems to burn the leaves. So there we go, one bell plant pot grower. I think the chili plant will do fine in there. So there you go, the first video for this channel. I do have lots of other ideas, not necessarily involving plants, but I do plan to continue to move my growing chili plants into these KeyKeg plant bells. I think that's the word for it, plant bell. If you want to see more content from this channel, if you've got any advice or tips, I'd love to hear from you. You maybe have something that I need to know, I could do better. And anyway, at least for my chilies, if you've got questions about the KeyKegs, and I maybe in the future be giving them away because I've got a supply coming in and I won't necessarily have room for them all. And I do have lots of other ideas for them besides plant pots. So if you want to see that, do hit that subscription button. Be sure to turn on notifications. Keep well, keep safe, and I'll catch up with you guys for the next KeyKeg episode.